What if double comparison? Neptune Sasuke, the whole ninja world is numb. During the critical phase of the Chunin Exams, a mysterious dual timeline comparison broadcast suddenly descends upon the ninja world, exposing the starkly contrasting lives of two completely different versions of Uchiha Sasuke. Sasuke from the original world. He was systematically deceived by Uchiha Itachi, manipulated by Uchiha Obito, and continuously brainwashed by successive Hokages to be kept completely in the dark. His entire developmental process relied strictly on the predetermined paths arranged by Itachi and the sudden genetic gifts of the six-path sage to increase his combat power. Though he successfully sealed Otsutsuki Kaguya to save the ninja world, he ultimately ended up wandering the earth alone outside Konoha. With only a single daughter to carry his name, the legendary Uchiha bloodline faces total demographic extinction. Sasuke from the parallel world, Neptune Sasuke. Relying on deep research, critical thinking, and historical analysis, he independently pieced together the clues to uncover the hidden political conspiracies and liquidate every single enemy of his clan. He rapidly forged his own sovereign power, successfully obtaining Senjutsu, an immortal body, the Rinnegan, the chakra of the tailed beasts, and eventually awakening the ultimate 9-tomo Rinne Sharingan. Utilizing absolute, unyielding power, he completely unified the 5 great nations, swept the Otsutsuki clan from existence, brought genuine structural peace to the world, and launched the ninja world into a glorious era of interstellar exploration. With wives and concubines gathered in numbers, he single-handedly spreads the branches and leaves of his lineage, successfully rebuilding the glorious Uchiha clan through the sheer power of one man. Chapter 11. Sasuke wanted to know what he should practice next, so he went directly to ask Mr. Irika for advice. Irika also agreed that Sasuke's strength far exceeded that of anyone else in the same period. At Irika's suggestion, Sasuke began practicing climbing trees and treading water. Irika said, "Are you actually asking me for advice? Why didn't our Sasuke do this?" Hatake Kakashi replied, "Our Sasuke has an almost closed personality after the genocide incident, and of course he will not choose to ask others for help." Jiraiya laughed. "That makes sense. That Sasuke has a better mental state. He doesn't mind asking others for advice, and he doesn't even mind using girls as tools." Hearing this, the Uchiha Sasuke in the real world became more and more envious. They were the same age. Here he was, repeating meaningless ninjutsu exercises again and again, but in the parallel world, his counterpart had already started practicing climbing trees and treading water. "You know, I only did this exercise this year. He is 5 years ahead of schedule," Sasuke thought bitterly. After this, the parallel world Sasuke started a new practice routine, indulging in practicing climbing trees and treading water every day. As for other things, Sasuke specifically learned the shadow clone technique. There was this ninjutsu in the scroll left behind by his father. A shadow clone was created. In the ninja school, the clone read books and learned to think. One night, after Sasuke released his shadow clone, he suddenly thought of something. After the shadow clone is released, the memory of the clone's experience will be transferred back to the main body. Sasuke's eyes lit up. What did that mean? Can knowledge and experience-based training content be completed through shadow clones? For example, for chakra control exercises such as climbing trees and treading water, you may be able to practice with shadow clones to double the speed. The next day, Sasuke started trying. The main body and the shadow clone performed chakra control exercises together. At night, when the shadow clone was released, the experience of climbing trees and treading water was transferred back to the original body. Although his brain was a little tired, it worked. Might Guy gasped, Can you still practice like this?" Rock Lee cheered. "Wouldn't the speed of practice be doubled by doing this?" "Teacher Guy, let's do this in the future." Kakashi Hatake sighed. "Ahem, please calm down. Only knowledge and experience content can be retained through shadow clones and have the memory transferred back to the main body. Physical training is not possible." Might Guy slumped. "Is that so? What a pity." Minato Namikaze added, "That's not entirely true. For example, the experience and skills of physical combat, the ability to respond to attacks, and so on, These are also experience-based and can also be assisted by shadow clones. Jiraiya nodded. That's right. That is to say, shadow clones cannot be used for training that involves raw physical growth and muscle progress. Uzumaki Naruto yelled. I have decided that I will use shadow clones to practice every day from now on. I will strive for 1 year, no, 1 month, to defeat the bastard Sasuke. Uchiha Sasuke sneered. You idiot. Wouldn't I use this method to practice too? Hatake Kakashi warned. Don't abuse this method. The shadow clone training method requires a sufficient amount of chakra, and it also requires incredible mental toughness. Kakashi narrowed his eyes slightly and looked at Naruto thoughtfully. This method may be just right for Naruto. The bloodline of the Uzumaki clan plus the huge amount of chakra from the Nine Tails Jinchuriki, combined with a thick-skinned brain, made it a training method tailor-made for Naruto. The gold frame screen continued to play. With Sasuke's tireless efforts in training, after a week, he had completely mastered the 2 exercises of climbing trees and treading water. Sasuke could clearly feel that his chakra control ability had been greatly improved. With a more sophisticated use of chakra, releasing the same ninjutsu now consumed almost half the chakra it did before. With this, Sasuke began to try to learn several B-level ninjutsu at home. It took several days, but Sasuke successfully mastered the B-level fire style, Phoenix Sage Fire Technique, and the Dragon Fire Technique. Anoki murmured, B-level fire style. Sasuke, another Uchiha, is really talented. The 4th Raikage asked, the highest fire style ninjutsu is only B-level, right? Uchiha Fugaku answered, yes. Sasuke has not mastered the super wide area fire style ninjutsus like Great Fire Annihilation and Great Fire Destruction yet. The real Uchiha Sasuke muttered, Dad, that's another me. Uchiha Fugaku coughed, ahem. In the ninja school, Sasuke put higher and higher demands on himself. It went from 5 people joining forces to defeat Naruto, to a single shadow clone defeating several people fighting together. Eventually, his shadow clones didn't even need to open the Sharingan to beat them up, getting more and more relaxed. Damn it! Inuzuka Kiba couldn't help swearing. His blood pressure was soaring. The other Uchiha Sasuke was just too detached. He was completely teasing them. Nara Shikamaru's face didn't look very good either. Even if he wasn't overly competitive, the gap was stark. Seeing a peer of his own age beating him up so lightly made it impossible for him to feel good. Sasuke once again went to ask Mr. Irika for new training content. Irika had a headache. He was now afraid that Sasuke would come to him. In the past weeks, Sasuke often came to him to ask for advice on training matters. At first, Irika was very enthusiastic and gave guidance. But later, he was gradually frightened by Sasuke's terrifying training speed. The main body and shadow clone practicing at twice the speed meant Irika didn't have much left to teach. When it came to ninjutsu, Sasuke knew more than his teacher. In terms of ninja tool throwing, Sasuke's Uchiha throwing technique under the blessing of the Sharingan was far superior to that of his Chunin teacher. In terms of genjutsu, with the blessing of the double Tomo Sharingan, Sasuke also surpassed him. With the chakra control exercises completed, the only area where Sasuke was lacking compared to him was raw strength and chakra reserves due to his young age. Chapter 12. Irika was speechless. He was so miserable in the other world, losing his self-confidence because of an overly talented student. Kakashi Hatake noted, with Sasuke's strength, he can almost take the Chunin exam. The lack of raw strength and chakra can be made up for by his Sharingan, ninjutsu, and genjutsu. Rock Lee gasped. But Sasuke is only 7 years old. Can he take the Chunin exam now? Might Guy patted his shoulder. Lee! Kakashi became a Chunin at the age of 6. Rock Lee cheered. Wow, so this is a genius. Might Guy encouraged him. As long as you work hard, you can definitely catch up with any genius. Back on the screen, Irika was sweating profusely, not knowing what to teach. As a Chunin teacher, it was so embarrassing to have nothing left to teach a ninja school student. Suddenly, Irika thought of something. Sasuke, what I'm going to teach you next is a high-speed burst of taijutsu, called the body flicker technique. The body flicker technique refers to gathering a large amount of chakra on the soles of the feet, bursting it out instantly, and using this powerful force to move quickly, which looks like teleportation. The technique requires a very high level of chakra control in the feet. Sasuke listened carefully and memorized the key points Irika said one by one. Immediately afterward, Sasuke began to practice the body flicker technique. Shiranui Genma commented, "The body flicker technique is something that at least a special Jonin should master, right?" Ebisu agreed. Irika, as a Chunin, can also learn the body flicker technique. However, Irika himself probably hasn't fully mastered it, right? Irika coughed. Ahem. That was done by me in another world. It has nothing to do with me. It was so embarrassing. He himself had not mastered the body flicker technique yet. The time played on the gold frame screen was 5 years ago in another world, meaning his counterpart actually taught Sasuke a technique he hadn't mastered himself. But then again, if he hadn't, he really would have had nothing left to teach. Inoki smiled. It's interesting. If you teach a technique you haven't mastered yourself, can the student still learn it? The fourth Hokage stated, if Sasuke Uchiha can still learn it like that, it means he is a true genius. Orochimaru hissed, I have great confidence in this Sasuke. Sasuke started practicing the body flicker technique. For some reason, while he didn't have much difficulty learning ninjutsu in the past, this time he faced a lot of hurdles. He could never quite hit the mark, and it felt like Irika-sensei's teachings were missing a lot of core details. After trying for several days with no progress, Sasuke went to ask Mr. Irika for advice again. Obviously, Irika couldn't say anything new. Sasuke felt that Irika's expression was a little evasive, though he couldn't understand why at the time. After returning, Sasuke continued practicing while thinking about what went wrong. Discovering problems, making guesses, trying them out, and testing ideas, he repeated this cycle over and over. Gradually, Sasuke got closer and closer to mastering the technique. A month later, Sasuke demonstrated the completed body flicker technique right in front of Irika. Irika's expression went completely blank. Uzumaki Naruto laughed. Ha 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 ha! What is that expression on Irika-sensei's face? It's so funny. Uchiha Sasuke snapped. Naruto, you actually still have the heart to laugh at that? Hyuga Neji muttered. He actually really learned it. Irika groaned. I suspect that Sasuke in another world is cheating. He could now fully appreciate the blow his alternate self received. Pretending to master a high-level technique to teach a student, only for the student to actually figure it out and master it anyway, what a joke. Orochimaru praised. There is no doubt that Sasuke in the other world is a genius in the true sense, a genius in all aspects. Namikaze Minato agreed. He has a strong ability to learn and think, and can fill in the blanks through incomplete information. By guessing and refining it, it can be said that he has the qualifications to develop his own ninjutsu. Boom! Everyone in the ninja world was shocked. Developing ninjutsu. Anyone who could achieve this was guaranteed to be a legendary ninja. Those who did this in history were all powerful figures who left their names in the chronicles of the ninja world. And Uchiha Sasuke, a mere student of a ninja school, had reached this level at the age of 7. No one questioned Namikaze Minato's judgment. After all, the fourth Hokage was the one who developed the A-level ninjutsu, the Rasengan. After a long time, Irika came back to his senses on screen. Facing Sasuke, who planned to continue asking for advice, Irika reluctantly told the truth. He admitted that he hadn't even mastered the body flicker technique he taught him, and that he had nothing left to teach. The teachers at the ninja school were all Chunin around his level, meaning the school had nothing left to offer Sasuke. If Sasuke wanted further guidance, he would have to wait until he was assigned to a Jonin leader after graduation. But since it was a time of peace, the village had banned ninja school students from graduating early. Regarding the next training content, I only know that Jonin need to master changes in chakra nature. But I don't know at all how to actually practice it, Irika said frankly. Although he didn't get a direct answer, Sasuke still expressed his gratitude to Mr. Irika. He would just have to figure out how to practice it next on his own. Chapter 13. Seeing this, everyone in the chat room couldn't help but start discussing. Might Guy wondered, What else can Sasuke practice next? Can he practice taijutsu like me and Lee? Hatake Kakashi answered, Taijutsu is indeed a training direction. After all, Sasuke in the other world has absolutely no guidance from above right now. Uchiha Fugaka sighed. It would be a waste of Sasuke's talent to just exercise and increase physical strength. Minato Namikaze noted. But things like changes in the nature of chakra cannot easily be separated from the teachings of a jonin. Otherwise, it is too difficult to explore by yourself. Hatake Kakashi agreed. Indeed, I became a Chunin at the age of 6, but it was not until I was 12 years old that I developed the Chidori with the help of Minato-sensei. Kakashi's father, the White Fang of Konoha, had committed suicide when Kakashi was young. It wasn't until later, under the guidance of Namikaze Minato, that he mastered the nature change of lightning style and successfully completed the Chidori. But obviously, Sasuke in the other world didn't have this luxury. Without being allowed to graduate early, a jonin wasn't just going to fall from the sky to guide him. Orochimaru commented, if this problem is not solved, although Sasuke now has the strength comparable to a Chunin, his growth may stagnate in this realm. Namikaze Minato mused, maybe he will meet a teacher who values him? For example, meeting Jiraiya-sensei. Hatake Kakashi pointed out, at that time, Jiraiya-senpai was completely off the grid in the ninja world. Jiraiya coughed, ahem, I was just gathering information. The gold-framed screen continued to play. Over the next period of time, Sasuke spent a massive amount of time reading books. His daily practice focused heavily on raw physical conditioning. Regarding other aspects of training, Sasuke tried to find methods in books within the school library. But this was obviously difficult. Relying solely on basic library books made further advancement extremely tough, especially since high-level records were strictly guarded. During this time, although Sasuke read a lot of books and increased his knowledge and critical thinking, he made no breakthroughs in his practical jutsu. Many people sighed, seeing that, as expected, even a genius like Sasuke needed a famous teacher, or his growth rate would slow down drastically. Half a year passed, and Sasuke turned 8 years old. During this time, his body grew rapidly from the daily physical exercise. In terms of food, thanks to the double preparations made by Haruno Sakura and Yamanaka Ino, Sasuke's height shot up, making him visibly taller than his peers. In other aspects of practice, Sasuke could only read books and look for information day after day, hoping to find a clue. One day, Sasuke found a book in the school library without an author's name. A summary of the principles of ninjutsu. The author's name is blacked out? Sasuke was a little confused, but judging from the title, it might contain exactly what he needed. He opened and browsed it. Theoretically, as long as the amount of chakra, the quality of chakra, and the ability to control chakra are strong enough, it is possible to perform all ninjutsu. Among them, the quality of chakra mainly refers to the changes in its nature. Chakra control ability determines the form changes of ninjutsu. As he read, Sasuke's eyes became brighter and brighter. This book could solve his need for further cultivation. Regarding the control of chakra, it can be specific to the level of meridians and even chakra points. If your chakra control ability is strong enough, theoretically, you can control the direction, speed, and amount of chakra flowing in any meridian or any chakra point. If you can reach this level, you can discard hand signs entirely as a tool to assist the flow of chakra. That is, hand signless ninjutsu. Orochimaru laughed. I remember now. This book seems to have been written by me. That was back when he was still in Konoha. It seemed some of his academic books were still circulating, even if his name had been redacted. Looking at Sasuke's excited expression, Orochimaru felt a swelling sense of pride. Sasuke from the parallel world is indeed a genius who knows true quality. Jiraiya scoffed. Can someone complete advanced training just by reading books? I don't believe it. Orochimaru smirked. Then it depends on who wrote the book. Jiraiya snapped. Impossible. Mastering chakra nature changes just by reading a book has never been done in the entire history of the ninja world. If that Sasuke can do it, I will find your book and eat it. Orochimaru grinned. Jiraiya, remember what you just said. Jiraiya suddenly felt a bit nervous and shook his head. Kakashi was a genius who became a Jonin at 12, but even he learned lightning nature transformation directly from Minato. How could Sasuke learn it from a library book? It seemed impossible. Back on screen, Sasuke thought intently. In other words, the training I am going to do next involves balancing chakra control on one hand, and the quality and nature change of chakra on the other, enhancing control to enable hand signless ninjutsu. It seems interesting, definitely worth a try. Chapter 14. Inoki gasped, "Am I seeing things? Is he really trying to perform hand signless ninjutsu?" The fourth Hokage emphasized, "The most important thing is, this Uchiha Sasuke is only 8 years old. At 8 years old, an average ninja would be lucky to master a basic elemental jutsu. Yet this Sasuke wanted to develop hand signless casting." Terumi frowned. "Why do you make it sound like he can do it just because he wants to? How can hand signless ninjutsu be that easy?" Kakashi Hatake added, "Simplifying signs is already incredibly powerful, let alone eliminating them completely." Senju Tobirama chimed in, "If your chakra control is high enough, you can indeed minimize signs. For example, when I perform the water dragon bullet technique, I only need 4 hand signs." Terumi admitted, "I can only simplify it to 6. Zabuza Momochi remained dead silent, remembering the 44 hand signs he normally used for the exact same jutsu. Senju Hashirama laughed. "Hand signs? Isn't that just a 2-hand clap thing?" Senju Tobirama snapped, "Brother, shut up. Don't think that just because you can do it, everyone else can too." On the screen, after confirming his next training path, Sasuke drew up a strict schedule. As his body grew, he could now successfully maintain 3 shadow clones. According to his arrangement, the main body was responsible for refining chakra and physical conditioning. Of the 3 shadow clones, 1 was responsible for reading books to gather information, 1 practiced raw chakra control, and the final clone practiced nature transformation. Sasuke tested himself and found that his chakra possessed both fire and lightning attributes, with the intensity of the lightning attribute being slightly higher. Therefore, he chose lightning style for his nature transformation training. As for his attempt at hand signless casting, Sasuke chose his most familiar jutsu, the Great Fireball technique. Following the principles in the book, he controlled the flow of chakra precisely through his meridians, trying to gradually reduce the number of hand signs needed. A month later, Sasuke stood in a clearing. Fire style, Great Fireball technique. A massive ball of fire blasted outward. But what was completely shocking was that this time, Sasuke didn't weave a single hand sign. "It seems it's not particularly difficult," Sasuke muttered, looking slightly confused. "My first hand signless ninjutsu, is it really complete?" There was absolute silence in the chat room. After a long pause, Jiraiya asked, "Is there a gap missing in the footage? How did he suddenly just master hand signless casting?" Hatake Kakashi wondered, "Is hand signless ninjutsu really that simple?" He had copied thousands of jutsu, but the only one he used that required no signs was the Rasengan. Orochimaru laughed. "It seems Sasuke's genius completely exceeds my expectations." Senju Tobirama muttered, "This kid is a little abnormal." Senju Hashirama smiled. "Isn't this quite normal?" Tobirama barked, "He is just as abnormal as you are, big brother." In the pure land of the underworld, the Sage of 6 Paths was also watching the broadcast. Uchiha Sasuke, he must be the reincarnation of Indra in this generation, the sage thought. This version of Sasuke heavily reminded him of his eldest son, Indra, who originally created the hand sign system to help weaker people mold chakra. Sasuke's natural talent for casting without signs mirrored Indra's prime. On screen, after completing his first hand signless jutsu, Sasuke began trying it with others. Thanks to his skyrocketing chakra control, his progress with new jutsus accelerated. However, nature transformation was proving slower. Though he was making steady progress, it would still take time to fully master lightning style. One day, while reading in the school library, a book with a bright orange cover caught his attention. "Make Out Paradise? What is this?" Sasuke was completely confused. The cover featured a silhouette of a couple running. Curious, he opened it and flipped through a page. Snap! He closed it instantly, his face flushing bright red. You can't watch it, you can't watch it. This must be one of the 3 forbidden ninja corruptions, Sasuke warned himself. Yet, his hands uncontrollably opened the book right back up. Well, maybe just a quick look to satisfy my curiosity. I won't get obsessed. Half a day flew by. Jiraiya grinned. Hee. Hatake Kakashi smiled. Congratulations, Sasuke, for opening the door to a new world. Uchiha Makoto yelled. How can there be such a book in the library of a ninja school? Uzumaki Kushina sighed. Sure enough, you must keep children far away from Master Jiraiya. The real Uchiha Sasuke frowned, wondering, is that book really that interesting? He always saw Kakashi holding it. He momentarily wondered if he should buy a copy, before shaking his head violently. What am I thinking? Revenge is far more important. On screen, Teacher Irika suddenly walked up, looking for something. Sasuke, have you seen a copy of... Wait, you? Irika froze, staring at the book in Sasuke's hand. Sasuke's brain locked up for a fraction of a second, but his expression instantly smoothed out into perfect calm. Irika-sensei, is this your book? I noticed there was no name written on it. He handed it over casually, looking as if he had simply picked up a lost textbook. Chapter 15. Uzumaki Naruto blinked. I didn't expect Irika-sensei to read those kinds of things. Jiraiya laughed. I have a surprising number of closet fans. Ha ha ha. Irika panicked. That's not me. I don't have that. Nara Shikamaru sighed. Irika-sensei, don't bother explaining. There is almost no difference between your personality and your alternate selves. Whatever he does, you would do. Irika put his head in his hands. Hatake Kakashi shrugged. Isn't it just make out paradise? There's nothing a grown man should be ashamed to admit. The Konoha ninjas rolled their eyes, thinking that not everyone carried it around 24/7 like he did. Uchiha Makoto worried. Sasuke won't learn bad habits from reading that, right? Uchiha Fugaku crossed his arms. Actually, it might not be a bad thing. If Sasuke takes an interest in women, the survival and inheritance of the Uchiha clan won't be a concern. On screen, Irika snatched the book away, his voice trembling. Sasuke, you haven't read this, right? Sasuke replied with a perfectly serious face. I didn't read it. I was just trying to see who it belonged to when you walked over. Irika-sensei. By the way, what is this book about? Is there something useful to learn from it? Irika's expression turned incredibly stern. It's just some idle, boring reading. Nothing interesting at all. Senju Hashirama laughed. Ha ha ha. I give Sasuke full marks for his poker face and acting skills. Uzumaki Naruto mocked. Irika-sensei is so weak. He was completely fooled. Irika groaned. His face was so normal. Who could possibly tell he was lying? The real Uchiha Sasuke felt an ominous premonition. His parallel self seemed to be veering onto a completely wild path. After school, on his way home, the alternate Sasuke passed a bookstore. An idea popped into his head. Should I go in and buy a copy? He immediately shook his head. No, I am an avenger. I need to find the truth and focus on my practice. I don't have time for this. Yet, even as he thought this, his legs automatically walked right into the shop. Sasuke stared down at his lower body. Weird. My legs seemed to have a mind of their own. However, the moment he walked in, the shopkeeper shooed him away. Go away, little kid. There's nothing for you to look at in here. Sasuke scoffed lightly. Stepping into a nearby alley, he put his hands in his pockets and performed a hand signless transformation jutsu. Shifting into an adult, he walked back inside, picked up Makeout Paradise, purchased it successfully, and left. The real Uchiha Sasuke covered his face. It was exactly as he feared. Hatake Kakashi sighed contentedly. There are only 2 kinds of people in this world. Those who haven't read Makeout Paradise, and those who praise it after reading it. There is no third kind. Jiraiya laughed. Ha ha ha. Thank you for the high praise. Yuhi Kurinai frowned. Will Sasuke turn into a lazy, aloof guy like Kakashi because of this? That would be such a pity for a handsome kid. Nara Shikamaru pointed out, more importantly, look closely. His hand's signless casting control is getting smoother and smoother. He transformed without a single movement. On screen, Sasuke read deep into the night until he finally finished the book. He sat there looking as if he had just been completely baptized. A door to a brand new universe swinging wide open. Having spent the last 2 years locked away reading academic texts and practicing non-stop, he realized for the first time that the world held other forms of entertainment. No, I can't waste my time on this, his inner voice argued. But you can't look at it that way, another voice countered. Isn't it balanced to read and relax? It's combining work and rest. An intense internal conflict broke out. A white cartoon Sasuke and a black cartoon Sasuke began arguing in his head. Reading this kind of trash will only rot your ninja spirit. Nonsense. This relieves mental stress so that you can practice even better tomorrow. You're just slacking off and losing your focus. You're just stubborn and old-fashioned. How can you hope to revitalize the Uchiha clan by reading smut? Why can't the Uchiha be revitalized through this? Give me one good example. For example, how do we rebuild a clan? Doesn't a clan require a massive increase in population? That actually makes sense. Wait, no. What does that have to do with this book? We read Make Out Paradise to learn the psychological and romantic skills. And then we find girls to help rebuild and multiply the strength of the Uchiha clan. Wow. There is immense truth in that. Right? Agreed. The inner voices fell completely silent. Sasuke successfully convinced himself. If he wanted to revitalize the Uchiha clan, his greatest contribution would be expanding the population. It was a noble sacrifice of his own body for the sake of the Uchiha career. In the real world, Haruno Sakura and Yamanaka Ino's eyes literally turned into hearts. I'm down. Count me in. I'll work hard with Sasuke to rebuild the clan. The real Uchiha Sasuke's face flushed bright red. His alternate self was completely utilizing logic to become a total player. Terumi smiled. The Sasuke in our world is a cold, brooding handsome boy, right? It seems the Sasuke in the parallel world is developing into a smooth-talking ladies' man. Yuzuki Yugao added. He's literally building a harem but managed to give himself the most high-standing, noble excuse possible. Tsunade glared across the room. Jiraiya, look at what your trash books are doing to the youth. Jiraiya whistled, looking away. Uzumaki Kushina laughed. What's wrong with that? I think little Sasuke makes perfect sense. I hope my little Naruto learns a thing or two from him. Uchiha Mikoto blushed. Kushina, please. Uchiha Fugaku nodded quietly. Honestly, if he manages to recreate the clan single-handedly, it would be wonderful. The next day on the screen, Sasuke's entire mentality shifted. Originally, when he looked at Sakura and Ino, he merely viewed them as convenient tools to get free lunches and information. But now, when he looked at the girls across the school, an entirely different filter swept over his eyes. Sasuke had officially developed an eye for beauty. Chapter 16. The next day at the ninja school, Sasuke decided to put his new knowledge into practice. Walking up to a classmate, he smiled warmly. Sakura, your tiara looks great today. Sasuke. Haruno Sakura was practically paralyzed with shock. The surprise came way too suddenly. The male god she had been desperately chasing for years had finally noticed her. Sasuke then turned smoothly to her rival. Ino, you smell so good. What kind of flower is that? Yes. It's Cosmos, Yamanaka Ino stuttered. Even with her naturally confident personality, she couldn't help but lose her cool at this moment. I can bring a bunch to you tomorrow, Sasuke-kun. She wondered frantically in her mind. Sasuke-kun, why are you being so proactive all of a sudden? Really? In that case, can you invite Ino-chan to sit next to me? I want to be surrounded by your scent. A gentle, magnetic smile appeared on Sasuke's face. Boom! Ino's defenses collapsed entirely, and her face flushed bright red. Her mind completely melted. Is this a dream? If this is a dream, I hope I never wake up. In the real-world chat room, Asuma Sarutobi cried out, "Isn't this change a bit too fast?" He had been trying to win over Yuhi Kurenai for more than 10 years with barely any response. Yet Uchiha Sasuke changed his mindset the night before and became a smooth-talking ladies' man the very next day. He wondered, is Makeout Paradise really that powerful? Do I need to buy a copy myself? Nara Shikamaru sighed. The main reason it works is because of Sasuke's face. It was a brutal, looks-biased world. Sasuke was already incredibly popular. Now that he was actively taking the initiative, every girl in the school was going to go completely crazy. Uzumaki Naruto grumbled, "Damn it, what's so great about that bastard Sasuke?" Inuzuka Kiba whined, "It would be too miserable to live in the same world as that Sasuke. He's handsome, strong, and now he's proactive. The rest of us don't even have a way to survive." Rock Lee wept, "I'm so envious. When will I ever become that popular?" Yugao Yuzuki noted, "No girl can resist a boy who is both incredibly handsome and talented when he takes the initiative to praise her." Yuhi Kurenai agreed. Indeed, back then, Kakashi wasn't approachable at all and always wore a mask. Yet so many girls still liked him. Uchiha Obito roared, "Damn Kakashi!" Hatake Kakashi remained silent, feeling targeted. Hey8 Gecko coughed. "Can reading Makeout Paradise really improve your smooth-talking skills? If so, I want to buy a copy." Asuma Sarutobi added, "Count me in." Ebisu joined, "Grab one for me too." Shiranui Genma agreed. "And me." Ioba Yamashiro echoed, "Me 3. A whole group of single Konoha shinobi found themselves in immediate agreement. Jiraiya burst out laughing. "Ha ha ha!" Orochimaru smirked. "You are all overthinking. Sasuke's success is not just because of his face, but because of his terrifying learning ability. If most of you average people read a book written by Jiraiya, a lifelong bachelor, you would gain absolutely nothing." Jiraiya snapped, "Orochimaru, you bastard." Orochimaru continued smoothly. "Furthermore, based on my deep understanding of Jiraiya, the stories he wrote in Makeout Paradise are probably just random tales he overheard in various red light districts. Based on those adaptations, he has absolutely no personal, practical experience." Jiraiya yelled, "Shut up, Orochimaru." Orochimaru laughed. "Haha, if that book were truly useful, would your most loyal fan, Kakashi, still be completely single to this day?" Hatake Kakashi winced silently, feeling an imaginary kunai strike him directly in the knee. Back on screen, the door to a new world had opened wide. Sasuke felt as if he had entered a colorful, vibrant reality. He genuinely enjoyed teasing the beautiful girls every day, and because his mood was so bright, his training progressed even faster. His mastery over the nature transformation of lightning-style chakra neared completion. One day, in a remote wilderness somewhere on the outskirts of Konoha village, Sasuke stood before a massive boulder. He mobilized his lightning chakra, focusing it to a fine point. Lightning style, false darkness. A terrifying, spear-shaped bolt of lightning shot from his hand, instantly piercing the stone. The bolt easily penetrated a boulder more than 1 meter thick, leaving a clean hole that quickly webbed with fractures. Crack! The boulder, which was originally as tall as a person, completely collapsed into rubble. Phew! The nature transformation of lightning style is finally complete, Sasuke muttered, wiping the sweat from his forehead with an excited smile. The core trait of lightning chakra was piercing power, and destroying that massive boulder proved his training was a success. That's enough for today. Let's go invite Sakura and Ino to celebrate together, Sasuke said with satisfaction. The chat room fell completely silent. After a long pause, Kakashi Hatake finally spoke. He actually completed the nature transformation of lightning style entirely on his own. Kakashi remembered joining the Minato class at 9 and practicing for over 2 years, only mastering it at age 11 under Minato's direct guidance. Yet the parallel world Sasuke was still under 9 years old. Shiranui Ganma shook his head bitterly. Geniuses make absolutely no sense. He was nearing his 30s and was a special Jonin who had only mastered a single nature transformation, whereas a full Jonin needed to master at least 2. This 8-year-old kid had already caught up to him by reading books and experimenting on his own. Ebisu whimpered, "I feel so inadequate." Marino Ibiki added, "Who can look at this and not feel depressed?" A group of Konoha special Jonin felt an immense weight of pressure pressing down on them. Orochimaru praised, "This Sasuke is a true genius, a prodigy beyond imagination." Orochimaru then hissed, "Jiraiya, do you remember what you said earlier about eating a book?" Jiraiya stayed dead silent, wondering if a cookbook would taste any better. Chapter 17. Senju Hashirama mused, "If this keeps up, won't this little Sasuke already possess the strength of a Jonin by the time he graduates?" Senju Tobarama replied, "It's not a matter of should, it's a certainty." Achieving his first nature transformation through self-study means mastering the Uchiha's native fire-style nature transformation will be child's play for him. Hatake Kakashi muttered, "I have a very bad feeling about this." He felt like he was going to suffer. If he ended up being the assigned Jonin leader for Team 7 in that parallel world, he would be handed a student whose strength defied all imagination. As a teacher, he would have absolutely nothing left to teach him. Zabuza Momochi sweated silently. He realized that if Kakashi brought a Jonin-level Sasuke to their eventual battle, his alternate self was going to be slaughtered on the spot. As time passed, Sasuke continued his training. His chakra control advanced steadily, giving him flawless control over the flow of chakra through his individual meridians. His fire-style nature transformation was also progressing smoothly. Simultaneously, he kept reading every day to enrich his mind, gathering hidden pieces of data to sharpen his analytical skills. He felt he was getting closer and closer to uncovering the dark truth behind the major incidents in Konoha. One day, after finishing his training, Sasuke was walking home when he heard a little girl crying, accompanied by the harsh insults of several older boys. "Are you the sister of that annoying Niji? How disgusting. You have the same creepy pale eyes as him. Hey, isn't the Hyuga clan's Byakugan supposed to be amazing? Show it to us. Crybaby, you're totally useless. Monster, you white-eyed monster." Sasuke frowned and walked over. He saw a young girl surrounded by bullies, and she looked familiar. Her name was Hinata Hyuga. She was usually incredibly silent and completely invisible in class. Sasuke stepped into the clearing. "Hey, you guys. 3 of you ganging up to bully one girl? Are you looking for a beating?" He didn't take these older, rowdy kids seriously at all. "You, Uchiha Sasuke. Damn it. It's that guy. Let's get out of here." The 3 bullies looked terrified the moment they saw him. Even though they were in a higher grade, Sasuke's reputation and monstrous strength were known throughout the entire school. "Stop!" Sasuke snapped. The 3 kids froze in their tracks, their bodies trembling. "Did I give you permission to leave? Apologize to her right now," Sasuke ordered, pointing at Hinata. Though the bullies were resentful, they completely lost their nerve after Sasuke casually lifted one of them with a single hand and slammed him into the dirt. "We're sorry. We were wrong. Please forgive us." Sasuke waved his hand dismissively, and the kids scrambled away as fast as their legs could carry them. Sasuke knelt down and gently touched Hinata's head. "Your family's training is supposed to be excellent. Why didn't you fight back?" A warm, comforting smile appeared on his face. After practicing his social skills with the girls at school for so long, Sasuke was a master of the craft. His gentle, manly smile was practically an emotional weapon. Hinata's face turned crimson. The soft hand resting on her head, the gentle voice, and the warm smile made her feel as though she were surrounded by a soft, comforting halo. I didn't dare to," she whispered. Sasuke sat down directly across from her. "Why didn't you dare? Are you worried about something? You can tell me. I'll do my best to help." Those gentle words cracked the heavy emotional wall Hinata had built up from her family's crushing expectations. She began to whisper her thoughts, explaining how strict her father, the clan patriarch, was with her. As her younger sister Hanabi grew stronger, Her father's attitude toward Hinata became harsher. In their daily sparring match earlier that day, Hinata couldn't bear to strike her little sister hard, causing her to lose the match and infuriate her father. After being severely scolded, she ran out of the compound crying. Sasuke listened intently, nodding along and validating her emotions. "What you did is completely normal. I understand you. If I had a younger sibling, I wouldn't be able to bring myself to hurt them either." Hinata let out a breath, a wave of relief washing over her because someone finally understood and recognized her feelings. Sasuke continued softly, "But if I had a younger sibling, I think I would practice even harder because I would never want anyone else to bully them. For example, if you were my little sister and I saw people treating you like those bullies just did, I would rush forward and beat them to a pulp." Hinata couldn't help but let out a small giggle, quickly covering her mouth. Sasuke smiled, adding, "You understand that feeling, right? What would you do if someone bullied Hanabi like that?" Hinata's eyes cleared. I would protect Hanabi." At that moment, Hinata finally understood. To gain strength was to gain the ability to protect the people she loved. Therefore, she needed to take her training seriously. Even when sparring with Hanabi, she had to give it her all, because the stronger she became, the better she could protect her sister. Looking at him with immense gratitude, Hinata blushed deeply. "Thank you. I understand what I have to do now." Sasuke's name was deeply engraved into her heart. Chapter 18. In the real world, Hanabi Hyuga blinked. "Wait, so Big Sister was holding back against me the entire time?" Hayashi Hyuga sighed deeply. As the leader of the clan and an elite jonin, how could he not see that Hinata was holding back? But that was exactly what made him so angry. Her gentle nature made her seem too weak to lead. He had scolded her hoping to spark a flame of seriousness, but it backfired. Yet Uchiha Sasuke from a parallel universe, a complete outsider, had managed to reach into her heart and completely shift her mindset in a single conversation. Hayashi felt a sudden pang of failure as a father. The real Hinata murmured, I didn't hold back that much." Hanabi cheered, "I've decided. I'm going to practice even harder from now on, so I can protect my big sister." Hinata smiled softly. She didn't want Hanabi to have to protect her. Protecting her little sister was her duty as the eldest. Looking at the gold-framed screen, she silently thanked the parallel world Sasuke. Terumi gushed, "That is incredibly smooth. If I were a young girl in Hinata's place, I wouldn't be able to resist him at all." Samui agreed, "I concur." Mabui added, "Me too. A handsome prodigy listening to your deepest worries with such gentleness? Any girl would fall in love on the spot." Uzumaki Kushina smiled. "It looks like this little Hyuga girl has fallen hard. My little Sasuke is quite the charmer." Uchiha Mikoto beamed, "As expected of my son." Yuhi Kurenai scratched her head awkwardly. She knew that the Hinata in their world actually had a massive crush on Naruto. If Kushina realized that her potential future daughter-in-law was being charmed away by Sasuke in the alternate universe, she wondered what her reaction would be. Back on screen, there was now another girl silently watching Sasuke at the academy. However, given Hinata's shy personality, she could never bring herself to approach him in public. Sasuke took the initiative to walk over and chat with her, causing the other students to pay more attention to the usually invisible girl. Gradually, under the active inclusion of Sakura and Ino, Hinata was drawn into a wider social circle. Her demeanor began to shift away from paralyzing shyness. She was thrilled with her personal growth and grew increasingly grateful to Sasuke, though that gratitude was rapidly turning into a completely different emotion. What if? Hinata would think to herself, her face instantly turning bright red. Meanwhile, Sasuke balanced his life perfectly, flirting with girls, studying advanced texts, and practicing his meditation. His 3 major life goals were moving forward flawlessly. Time flew and Sasuke turned 9 years old. One day, while reading a book titled Large-Scale War Layout and Command Art in the school library, a specific sentence caught his eye. If there is a severe lack of information and the situation is unclear, analyze who stands to benefit the most. The individual who gains the most profit is often the hidden mastermind behind the entire event. It hit him like a bolt of lightning. Sasuke's mind instantly connected a massive string of historical events. The tragic death of the White Fang, the sudden ascension of the fourth Hokage, the Nine Tails Rebellion, Orochimaru's sudden defection, and the total annihilation of the Uchiha clan. Behind every single one of these catastrophic events, a single figure remained constant, holding absolute power over Konoha. The third Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi. Behind all of this, what exact role did Lord Third play? Sasuke thought grimly. The old man who had sat at the absolute peak of power for over 30 years was definitely a force to be feared. But Sasuke hesitated. These were still just theories. How could he actually find concrete proof? In the real world, Orochimaru burst into a manic laugh. Ha 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 ha! I told you this Sasuke was a genius. He figured out the core variable. Hiruzen Sarutobi snapped. Orochimaru, do not spread your lies here. Inoki mocked. Oh, look at that. Sarutobi is panicking. The fourth Hokage sneered. It's over. The grandfatherly image of the third Hokage is completely shattered. Hiruzen Sarutobi countered defensively. Do not listen to their nonsense. A group of rival Kages and a rogue ninja are clearly fabricating lies to sow internal discord within Konoha. Danzo Shimura spoke up. He is right. Do not be deceived by their malicious words. Danzo knew he had to support Hiruzen here. It wasn't the time for their usual political sparring. If Hiruzen's reputation collapsed completely, Danzo's Black Ops division would be dragged right down into the light with him. The Konoha shinobi in the chat room fell completely silent. They were hesitating. Was there weight to Sasuke's theory? Years of conditioning made them instinctively reject the idea that the third Hokage was a mastermind, because if it were true, the foundation of their village was incredibly dark. The screen continued to play. After thinking for a long time, Sasuke focused on a physical location, the old Uchiha clan compound. Since the massacre, he had only returned there once. What state was it in now? Who occupied it? If he checked, would he find his answers? In the real world, Hiruzen Sarutobi broke out into a cold sweat. Orochimaru licked his lips maliciously. Teacher, you look incredibly nervous. Shut up. Hiruzen glared at his former student, his heart hammering against his ribs. On screen, Sasuke immediately took action. For the first time in 2 years, he stepped back into the Uchiha district. The pools of blood and bodies were long gone, replaced by bustling shops and new residential buildings. Sasuke walked through his former home with an expressionless face, noting a specific family crest stamped across numerous storefronts and houses. He recognized it from his reading, the emblem of the Sarutobi clan, the personal clan of the third Hokage. He walked alone to the banks of the Naka River, sitting down where he had once practiced his first fireball jutsu. Looking down into the clear, rushing water, the fully formed 3 Tomo Sharingan suddenly manifested in his eyes. Sarutobi. Oh, Sarutobi! Sasuke whispered. Chapter 19. The fourth Hokage shouted. The mastermind is finally caught red-handed. Inoki laughed. Ha ha ha! Sarutobi. Let's see you squirm your way out of this one. Terumi sighed. And here I thought our mist village was the only dark place. It seems Konoha is just as rotten underground. Uchiha Madara chuckled. Ha ha! Senju Tobarama. You truly raised a spectacular apprentice. Hiruzen Sarutobi's hands shook. Slander. This is absolute slander. He couldn't defend himself against the physical reality on screen. The parallel world Sasuke had checked the land records, and the Sarutobi clan had clearly taken over the prime real estate left behind by the dead Uchiha. Senju Tobarama spoke up coldly. Monkey, you had better explain exactly what is going on here. Hearing the second Hokage demand answers, Hiruzen swallowed hard, his mind racing to find a political pivot. He couldn't deny the physical state of the land, so he had to frame it as the administrative oversight. Sarutobi Hiruzen stated, Teacher, I must admit this requires self-reflection. I may have been far too lenient with my clan members. After the Nine Tails Rebellion, our village lost a massive number of elite shinobi, and the geopolitical situation was incredibly dire. I was under immense pressure, handling administrative duties, managing frontline defense intelligence, and organizing deployments day and night. The burden was so heavy that I simply did not have the time to oversee the private economic actions of my own clan. I had no idea they had moved into the Uchiha district in such numbers. Had I known, I would have severely restricted them. Danzo Shimura added immediately, "Teacher, I can verify his words. After the Nine Tails crisis, the Hidden Cloud, Stone, and Mist villages all attempted to exploit our weakness and invade the Land of Fire. We were under crushing pressure, and it is entirely understandable that Hiruzen failed to keep a close eye on his clan's real estate acquisition. In the Stone Village," Anoki cursed loudly, "that old fox Hiruzen is a master wordsmith." With a few sentences, he spun himself from a predatory conspirator into an overworked, tragic leader who simply failed to notice his family's greed. In the chat, several Konoha shinobi quickly vocalized their relief and support. Irika said, "I believe in Lord Third, though the Sarutobi clan may have lacked discipline." Ebisu agreed, "I trust the Hokage completely. There is no way he is a villain." Might Guy nodded, "I agree. Our village couldn't possibly be that dark." Hiruzen let out a long breath, relieved that the benevolent old man persona he had cultivated for decades still held strong among the masses. In the Pure Land, Senju Tobarama frowned. With his high political intellect, he knew his student was hiding the full scope of the truth. Regardless of the excuse, allowing your own clan to rapidly absorb a dead founding clan's assets was a massive failure of governance. "Monkey, do not disappoint me," Tobarama thought, keeping his eyes glued to the screen. The gold-framed screen continued. Sasuke reined in his emotions and returned to his temporary home as if nothing had happened. He knew his current strength was insufficient against the sheer scale of the Konoha administration. If he showed any suspicion, he would likely vanish that very night. He had to keep accumulating power in silence. However, his view of Hiruzen Sarutobi and the village had fractured permanently. To Sasuke, Konoha was no longer a peaceful haven. It was a superficial facade built on a foundation of buried secrets and historical bloodshed. He vowed to keep growing stronger until the day he could rip the truth of the Uchiha massacre out into the light. From then on, Sasuke acted precisely as he always had. He trained even harder, expanding his chakra reserves, mastering his nature transformations, and pushing his physical conditioning to its absolute limits. Simultaneously, he maintained his charming persona, spending time with Sakura, Ino, Hinata, and the other girls. The timeline advanced smoothly toward his eventual graduation at age 12. The golden playback paused, ending the parallel world sequence for the time being. Senju Tobarama summarized, "The difference between the two versions of Sasuke is staggering. Even with his inherent bias against the Uchiha, Tobarama had to respect the golden screen Sasuke as a flawless, all-around powerhouse. The parallel version was guaranteed to graduate with the tactical and practical capabilities of a full Jonin, displaying an advanced intellect, supreme learning capabilities, and an uncanny charisma. The real-world Uchiha Sasuke stared at his trembling hands, his nails digging into his palms until they almost bled. Damn it! Why was the gap between them so massive? When would he ever reach that level? Chapter 20. Driven by an overwhelming surge of envy, competitive fire, and determination to catch up to his alternate self, Sasuke's double Tomo Sharingan spun violently before a third Tomo manifested in both eyes. The fully formed 3 Tomo Sharingan. A heavy hand clamped down on his shoulder. "Sasuke, breathe. Control your emotions," Kakashi Hatake said solemnly. "I understand what you're feeling, but if you want to catch up to your alternate self, you must remain calm. Letting anger rule you will only make you predictable." "I understand, Kakashi," Sasuke managed, forcing his breathing to slow. As his chakra stabilized, the heightened emotions faded into cold focus. He believed that if his parallel self could achieve greatness, he could do it too. Orochimaru chuckled. his long tongue tracing his lips. As expected of the boy I chose. Spectacular evolution. Hiruzen Sarutobi frowned slightly, seeing the young Uchiha unlock the 3-tomo form so early in this timeline. Suddenly, the silver-framed screen on the left flared to life, showcasing the history of the real-world Sasuke. The screen showed the year 60 of Konoha. 12-year-old Uchiha Sasuke graduated at the top of his class. Though he didn't understand how Naruto, who had completely failed the basic clone exam, had managed to secure a headband, Sasuke didn't care enough to ask. He was placed into Team 7 alongside Uzumaki Naruto and Haruno Sakura. After waiting for hours in an empty classroom, they were finally greeted by their lazy, silver-haired Jonin leader, Kakashi Hatake. Up on the roof, they went through their introductions. My name is Uchiha Sasuke. I hate a lot of things, and I don't particularly like anything. What I have is a dream, but an ambition. I am going to restore my clan and kill a certain man. Finally, Kakashi closed his eye and delivered his classic warning. We will meet at the training grounds at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. And pack a bag. Or don't eat breakfast unless you want to throw it up. The next day, the 3 genin waited until 11 in the morning before Kakashi finally sauntered into view. What followed was the bell test. The 3 members of Team 7 fought completely independently. Though Sasuke's skills were far above his peers, he was easily systematically dismantled by Kakashi, ending up buried up to his neck via the headhunter jutsu. After they all failed, Kakashi tied Naruto to a stump and revealed the true purpose of the test. Teamwork. When Kakashi left them for lunch with strict orders not to feed Naruto, Sasuke broke the rules and offered his bento to his teammate, triggering Kakashi's sudden approval. Team 7 successfully passed. The silver screen faded to black. Might Guy yelled, Kakashi, you were entirely too harsh with that dynamic entry and the 1,000 years of death technique. Seeing Naruto get launched into the stratosphere by the finger poke technique made everyone subconsciously flinch. Uzumaki Kushina laughed dangerously. Haha, Kakashi, you did a wonderful job with my son. Truly wonderful. Kakashi broke into a cold sweat, feeling an implicit death threat from his late master's wife. Minato Namikaze tried to diffuse the tension. Ahem, while Kakashi's teaching style is unique, it proved highly effective in instilling the concept of comradeship. Orochimaru scoffed. Humph, just a childish administrative game. I can't believe Konoha still utilizes that archaic bell test. Jiraiya barked, Orochimaru, shut your mouth. Uchiha Madara commented dismissively. The Sasuke of this world is entirely mediocre. At best, he is just an adequate genin. Senju Hashirama chided him. Don't say that, Madara. Raw strength can always be forged over time. I think the Sasuke of this world is a good boy. He was the first one willing to share his food with Naruto. Kankuro noted. Agreed. To endure a trauma that's severe and still possess a core of empathy makes this Sasuke an admirable person. He and Temari immediately thought of their younger brother, Gaara, whose childhood trauma had turned him into a homicidal maniac. Compared to Gaara, the real-world Sasuke was incredibly well-adjusted. Uchiha Fugaka sighed, but the disparity in their combat power is undeniable. While he respected his living son's resilience, the contrast with the powerhouse version from the parallel timeline left a lingering sense of disappointment. Uchiha Mikoto smiled gently. I am just happy our Sasuke grew up a good person. Sasuke felt a slight sting in his chest, but he steeled his resolve. Calm down. I simply took a less efficient path initially. I will close the gap. Anoki pondered aloud. I wonder what the golden screen Sasuke will look like by the time he reaches 12? The fourth Raikage stated. Kakashi became a Jonin at 12. The parallel Sasuke's combat capability should easily eclipse Kakashi at the same age. Terumi Mei smiled. It would be highly entertaining if his assigned Jonin leader in that timeline is still Hatake Kakashi. Minato Namikaze looked toward his student. Kakashi would be 26 at that time. I wonder how your strength holds up in these current years, Kakashi. Since Kakashi had only used basic moves against the fresh graduates during the bell test, his actual combat limit remained hidden. Minato was deeply curious about his surviving student's growth. Kakashi pulled his mask up awkwardly, sweating under his breath. He knew he had spent the last several years stagnating due to depression and guilt, rather than advancing his skills. I really hope the upcoming footage doesn't completely embarrass me, he prayed. The golden frame screen on the right flared back to life.